Hello, and welcome to SaaS Marketing Insights, the show where we ask SaaS founders, CEOs, marketers, and investors about the lessons they've learned in their quest to grow their companies. My name is Paul Stevenson, and I'm founder and CEO of SaaS marketing agency 47 Insights. On today's show, I have an interview with Vasil Azarov, founder of Growth Marketing Conference. Hope you enjoy it. Vasil Azarov from Growth Marketing Conference. Welcome to SaaS Marketing Insights.
Excited to be here. Thank you, Paul.
So, been wanting to get you on the show for a while. I was down in San Francisco at Growth Marketing Conference last December, and we had a quick chat then. And it's taken a while for us to finally get our calendars aligned, but it's great to have you on. So how many years have you been running Growth Marketing Conference now?
So the first Growth Marketing Conference was, the Growth Marketing Conference originally was founded in 2015, but prior to that, we had a community of entrepreneurs and startups called Startup Socials, which we used to build a foundation for the conference. And that one we started with my partners back in 2013.
Fantastic. So this will be, I guess, the fourth year of the conference. And in a couple of weeks from now, where we are right now, you're actually running an event for the first time in Toronto, which is my neighborhood, I guess. I was interested to understand where the idea for running the event in Toronto came from.
Yeah, so I traveled to Toronto for another conference, which is something that I love to do regularly. And it was B2B marketing enterprise conference. And one of the fascinating things that I realized, there are only maybe 3 to 5 marketing events in Toronto that are happening all the year round, which is here in San Francisco. Every single day we have one marketing event or startup event. So, and we were always looking for to expand our community and host an event on the East Coast. We did it in Toronto in the past. We did one event in Atlanta. So this year we decided we'll try Toronto, why not? And it looks like community is super excited. The conference is coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're really looking forward to it.
Fantastic, yeah. And obviously in December, you've got the main show, Growth Marketing Conference in San Francisco again. I think that's December 10th and 11th. It gets bigger every year. And it's really where anybody who is into growth marketing goes to learn and to network. That's certainly why I was there last year. And I think, it's fair to say, with it being in San Francisco, that quite a lot of the people who attend are in SaaS, but there are people in e-commerce and B2C and all sorts of folks these days, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea behind the growth marketing, although we have a lot of companies focused on B2B and B2C, but the sort of idea is to democratize growth marketing and bring it to masses. So because everybody needs to grow, whether you're a startup, medium-sized business, or enterprise, everybody can benefit from this growth strategies and tactics that so many companies, high growth startups are using here in Silicon Valley and benefiting from them. So one of the things that we're particularly proud of as a team, that 30% of our attendants actually traveling all the way from various countries, from Europe, from South America. And one of our goals internally is to grow the audience, the international audience, because we really want to open growth marketing to everyone. So to answer your question, yes, there's a lot of SaaS companies, there's a lot of e-commerce, but there are some agencies, there are some companies, large enterprise companies who are very curious about growth marketing. And B2 B2B, B2C across the board.
Fantastic. Now I know that your expertise before you started Growth Marketing Conference, you have a background in event marketing, and I think you have some views on or comments at least on how event marketing can be used by SaaS startups or even established businesses to really grow their base. So I mean, obviously. You see a lot of stuff in the valley there. Would you like to expound further on what people should be doing or shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that events is one of the newest channel, emerging channel in the next couple of years that lots of not just startups, but more established companies, a lot of brands already doing events. And I think according to one of our partners, CMOs last year on average allocated 24% of their budget investing in the events, whether participating, sponsoring the events, or producing their own. But in my opinion, this trend will become even stronger. And what I'm seeing here, just by working with a lot of companies, organizing growth marketing conference, many of our partners are putting together their own events. And the reason why they're doing it for, first of all, to retain the existing users or customers. When they invite them to event and providing a great experience, there's a much higher chance that they will remain the customers. So there is a customer success element of it and retention. Another way is it's definitely to acquire new users and overall build a brand awareness. So, and back in the days, Dreamforce sort of figure out the best formula for it. And now every single Series A startup trying to emulate that formula. However, there are some very specific steps that I've seen when they've been taken, then this formula is successful. And some of the things that other companies are doing that prevent them from being successful by throwing events. So one of the things that I want to mention, if you like to invest in event marketing, you really need to invest in community building, and you need to leverage your community for customer feedback. You need to treat your event as a product. I know that I'm a little bit all over the place here, but feel free to clarify some with the follow-up questions.
Yeah, so I guess my first thought about it is, the events that I've been involved with is it's quite an expensive thing to do. It's a commitment, a real commitment, and it's not something to be done lightly. Is there any best practice? Is there any way to do it more cost effectively, or do you just have to, pay the money and suck it?
Yeah, one of the worst ways to approach it is thinking about, okay, let's just get a big keynote speaker and pay that speaker a lot of money, and the event will be successful. The best way to approach it is to really have that core community and that is interested in the subject matter of the event. And it cannot be your product or service. It can be something that is related to that, but you cannot be selling to your attendees at the event. This is sort of the core of it. So everything plays together into when it comes to overall experience, from the venue, from the people that you bring and invite to the event, from the speakers that you recruit. So yeah, events is pretty expensive investment, but if you do it right, you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in the event in the very beginning. You can put together a very relevant curated dinner or happy hour or panel, something to start with, and that's a good way to engage the community in the very beginning if you don't have a big budget. But later on, this is something that can grow into a larger conference. This is a next logical step for it.
Yeah. So when you started with, say, Growth Marketing Conference, to go back to that, the first year, how big was it? How many attendees did you have? Because you bootstrapped this from nothing, right? So you just took a flyer on it. You decided to gamble some money.
Yeah. Well, so for me, it was different because I also, all my life, I've been passionate about events and connecting people and marketing overall. And I had some experience producing events in the past. So I think this is something that gave me confidence to do it. And it wasn't a complete gamble because I had some experience with logistics. I had some connections with speakers and a basic understanding how to drive attendance and recruit sponsors. But and our first event was about 300 people or so. It was actually called, actually 250, Startup Marketing Conference. So, and it was just me and a couple of volunteers working on it, which I definitely underestimated resources needed to produce an event. So it's basically us working 24/7. But right now, what I really recommend to anyone who wants to start the conference first is really start with community building and organize a small meetup, interview every single person who joins your meetup, find out what exactly their main pain points are, what kind of content they want to hear about, something that you can help them with. Think of it as from lean startup perspective when they tell you to go outside of the building and talk to your potential customers. But with event marketing, the way it works, you actually get the right people to your building. You get them come to you. So this is sort of another way of inbound marketing as opposed to outbound when it comes to doing the customer development. So they come to you because they're interested in your event, and then you can talk to them. You use that opportunity to build on whether it's your product or service or the next event. So that's how I look at event marketing from ground up.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So with again with Growth Marketing Conference, so do you finish when you finished last December? Did you then just start marketing the next year straight away? Is it a round the year thing for you now in terms of, or do you have a window of marketing? How far should people start marketing? How far out should they start marketing an event?
Marketing never stops overall, and that's one of the biggest mistakes that some of the beginners, when it comes to event planning or marketing or organizing, have in common is that they feel that the event is over, the biggest event is over, so now we can take 1 month off and then start working on another one. So in reality, it's really never stops. Even before your big event, you have to be thinking about the next year. So it's not just one event that you're working towards and then you have to start from scratch. You have to think of it as a sequence of events, and you have to project how your event will grow year after year, how you will engage community in between, what kind of content you will be sending to your previous attendees so they can become your brand advocates and spread the word so more people would come next year. So it never stops, to answer your questions.
Yeah, I think you're quite famous for being the guy that sends practically every marketer in the world, but certainly that I know, an email at least once a week.
Yeah. So in fact, the way we approach, so I was just reviewing with our marketing manager, our email policy. So we have about over 100,000 of subscribers on our email list globally.
Wow.
And some of them more engaged than others because we also produced a lot of virtual events. Obviously, the one that attended our events, those are the ones that our core advocates, hopefully, and promoters. So we send them different messages than the ones who attend webinars, but we try to send one email to every single person on the list every single week. But depending on their interest, we sort of message them with slightly different messages.
So that's quite a big email task that you've got, and quite a sizable list there. So, there must be some interesting mechanics behind that in terms of, what ESP you use and, how, you know, in theory, it's easy to send to one person as 100,000, but, you know, do you find it's that there are issues with just managing, lists of that size?
Yeah, you absolutely need to have, there are two things that you need to have to be able to do that. One, a very dedicated and knowledgeable email marketing person who understands marketing automation, segmentation, lead scoring very well. And the second, obviously, technology.
Mm.
So currently we're using Autopilot, but we're also using a couple of other tools. So Autopilot is very flexible when it comes to a customer journey. And I know that there are so many tools out there, so I don't want to recommend a very specific vendor because a lot of them are doing the same thing. But we also use Outreach and Apollo for outbound campaigns. We use Pipedrive for our sales team. And we also try to integrate all of our marketing campaigns to make sure that all of the leads being scored and all of the data that is being collected that comes from all of the sources is integrated. So we review it with our marketing team to have a clear picture. And every single Monday we sit down and strategize who should be getting which email. So yeah, it's pretty much a full-time job for one person.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. So do you know what say, for example, the customer lifetime value of a growth marketing conference attendee is?
It's a really good question. We're actually working on identifying it. And the reason why it's really hard to identify is because a lot of our hardcore fans, so to speak, they still unable to attend every single event. So even though they really want to, and this is recently we had that conversation in the event marketing group among the organizers, that retention is a really big issue year after year. But it's very often not the event organizer, it's beyond the control of event organizers, because there are so many priorities that people have in their lives, and attending events is definitely doesn't rank super high on the very top. That's why it's really hard to calculate that value. But the way we decided that we will look at it within 5 years, right? Or like probably right now for us within 3 years, we're going to analyze how many people attended how many events, and based on that come up with a formula of the lifetime value of the customer. But one of the things that we track in, which is more important for us, is the average price for the tickets sold year after year. Because originally when we started, it was about $300, and then every year we would try to give away less of the complimentary passes and sell more passes to make sure that the value goes up. Obviously, given that we bring in higher caliber speakers, the content is getting better, so in networking opportunities. So the metric that we really track is the average ticket price value for the paid attendees year after year.
That's great. Thank you for the insight into your North Star. So what do you do when you're not doing a growth marketing conference? I know that you have other business interests. Anything that you can talk about? And I'm just wondering how you manage with running the conference and then mixing that with other things, because I imagine around the period of a conference you don't have time for anything else. It'd just be all encompassing.
Yeah, so I'm a strong believer that everything, if you have one business, any other side projects or anything else, need to be sort of connected to it, besides, of course, your life hobbies. And I like to recharge. During the weekend, I like to take a Saturday off. I try to do it every week, and Sunday is my planning day, so this is a really important one. But if I something that I believe when it comes to being a part of other projects is everything has to be connected to your main project, which is for me Growth Marketing Conference. So I attend a lot of events. I travel quite a bit, but every single time when I attend another conference, the goal is to meet some interesting people that can help contribute and add value to our community overall. So I love traveling. I love meeting people. I love helping people in events industry to find the right people that I already know, build successful partnerships. That's something that I'm very passionate about. And I guess in my spare time, I just like to spend time with my wife. And yeah, we live in Bay Area. I love wine, so I like to travel to Napa Valley, this is the plan for a weekend to a little bit recharge. And yeah, that's sort of something that gives me that mental reset to keep going and work on the conferences. But yeah, you rightfully mentioned that it's a lot of work just running that big event. It's definitely more than a full-time job.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that being an event marketer is one of the most stressful jobs in the world.
I think even more of event planner, but definitely event marketer too. But yeah, so my team, I'm so fortunate to have a very strong team that takes care of the logistics, which is the most stressful part. Yeah, definitely events are very stressful.
So if anyone's watching or listening to this and they've got questions about event marketing, you're happy to give them answers?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to reach out to me. I love talking about events. This is my favorite topic. And I also advise a couple of companies in event space who build in a technology and communities. But I'm happy to just help and have a conversation, especially for those who are would like to take a leap and start their own event. Because I feel my message is I would like to encourage everyone to start an event. It's might seem intimidating in the very beginning, but that's how podcasts started. Right now, almost everyone is doing a podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see any reason why in 5 years from now, everybody will be doing an events and engage their community. And yeah, we host cocktail parties, birthday parties. Why don't you host an event for your customers, your community members? And everybody should be doing it, in my opinion.
Vasil, thank you very much. That's a great insight. I think I'm going to take your words of wisdom and host a customer event.
Absolutely. You should host an event for your listeners. Oh, yeah, and for customers.
Yeah. So good luck with Growth Marketing Conference in Toronto. Unfortunately, I cannot make it because it clashes with something else. I was hoping to go, but it's a commitment I can't get out of. But I will see you again face-to-face in December in San Francisco.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paul, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Vasil. For more info on Growth Marketing Conference, please visit growthmarketingconf.com. For more info about this show and to get our links to iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher and YouTube, check out www.47insights.com. And if you have any SaaS marketing insights that you'd like to share on the show, please get in touch. Until next time.